Silent Hill 2 Remake is a remake of the game that came out 23 years ago, a game that was so beloved by the critics and the players alike. In this game, you play as James, a man who received a mysterious letter from his deceased wife, telling him to come to a town called Silent Hill. Normal people would think, that's weird, and then throw the letter away, but not James. James reads the letter and decides to go to the town, which is insane. And aside from that, James decides to go there alone. Like, dude, are you okay? You should at least bring a dog with you for emotional support to help you go through all the trauma you're about to encounter once you get there. Anyways, when we get there, the first landmark we hit is of course the graveyard. But surprise, James isn't the only one who thinks that taking a solo trip to a ghost town is a solid plan. Here we meet Angela, who's also in the graveyard because apparently her idea of finding her family members is poking around headstones. And as I said earlier, I didn't play Silent Hill 2 before, but I knew that Angela looked so mature and very appealing in the original game. And so I was surprised that they made her look like an anxious teenager in the remake. And after a quick research, I discovered that Angela was always supposed to be a teenager. In fact, even the developers did say that many people thought that Angela was a woman in her 30s, when in reality she's just a teenager. So... anyways, we leave Angela and we make our way into the town, only to find out that the town is deserted for years, it seems. I mean, you would think that common sense would kick in right now and make James change his mind and just ignore the letter he received. But no, he goes into the town further, and thus the game begins. And this is the first cutscene we see when we get into the town, and honestly, it makes me laugh every time I watch it. I mean, you can clearly see that the town is falling apart, and yet, when James sees someone walking in the fog, he's like, excuse me, sir? Like, James, read the room. When a town looks like this, maybe avoid talking to anyone who's still hanging around. They're either a ghost or as questionable as you are. Anyways, shortly after that, the game throws us into our first fight with whatever creature that was. And guess what weapon the game gives us to fight this monster? And if you guessed a wooden stick, you would be right. And unlike the original game, the developers of the remake gave James the ability to dodge, which proved to be controversial, because many players said it's unrealistic for James to be able to move like that because he's just an average person. He's not a fighter or a trained cop. Which makes me think like, dude, the whole story of Silent Hill 2 is that James received a letter from his dead wife. I think realism has been thrown out the window the moment you decided to start the game. This is not how it works. But anyways, early on in the game, we also get this radio, which I thought that Mary was going to use to communicate with us to find her. Oh, hold on. I hear someone talking. Oh my god. Mary? Can you hear me? Where are you? Mary? Is this you? It turns out that the radio thing will make static noise whenever enemies are close, because apparently seeing the enemies with your own eyes isn't good enough for some reason. And this is all you have to start the game: a wooden stick, a map, and a radio. And so the first area we start at is the town. And I gotta give it to them, the town looked creepy as hell. Also, one minor detail I really liked is... hold on a second. Yeah, as I was saying, one thing... please wait. Okay, where was I? Oh, one thing I really liked about the game... oh, hold on just a second. Okay, you probably get it at this point. I liked the fact that James physically takes out his map every time we come across something that needs to be marked on the map. However, a small complaint that I have, and that is breaking the glass. I mean, if you want to stay alive in a horror game, you have no option but to look under every nook and cranny to find items. But having to break every glass in the game is pushing it. Another complaint I have about the game is the fighting, and I have to put this word between 4 quotation marks. Fighting in this game sucks. There are just way too many of these 4-legged creatures. Like, sure, it was funny when I was ambushed by one of them early on in the game, but when you're 20 hours in, fighting them gets really annoying. Especially when they come out of nowhere. Stop doing that! Time to use my gun. Not so funny now, are you? I give up. Even though the enemies were extremely annoying, I have to point out that I liked their designs. I mean, they look unified and on theme, showing that they all belong in the same universe. I mean, look at this. This looks uncomfortable as hell. And speaking about uncomfortable stuff, what's up with the game forcing James to insert his hands into walls and toilet seats? And most importantly, how did he even know that there's an important item in the toilet seat? I mean, it's not like the game left clues indicating that a certain key is inside the toilet seat. And speaking about clues, I honestly found some of the puzzles to be kinda hard. Like the one inside the room full of bugs. Hold on. As I was saying, some of the puzzles were ambiguous. And not only that, I think some of the game objectives were ambiguous too. I mean, there were so many times I had no idea what my next objective was. And I'm not just talking about the game not telling me where to go exactly. I mean, even when it comes to the story. Like for instance, when you go downstairs only to find out Maria in a cell, and after a short conversation with her, you promise to save her, and then when you go back upstairs, you find a cube that appears out of nowhere for some reason, and you interact with the cube by moving it around, and if you spin it the right way, a path will open. Like, what is even this? Why am I spinning this cube? Does this cube symbolize something? Whose face is on the cube? And what's up with all these symbols on the side of the cube? And most importantly, how the hell is this supposed to help Maria? And that's not just the only thing that I don't get about the game. Do you remember when James went inside the closet to hide from Pyramid Head? But Pyramid Head heard him, and when he went to the closet to find James, James shot him with a gun. And then Pyramid Head just started having a seizure and just walked away from the closet. Like, what? Excuse me? Are you going to explain what just happened here? No? Okay. But putting all that aside, the thing that bothered me the most is the fact that James is just so dead on the inside. Like, he sees his dead wife. No emotions. A person just got killed right in front of him. No emotions. He's literally surrounded by fire. Still no emotions. Like, honestly, the scene where the fire is all around him reminds me of this meme. But at the very least, he did scream right at the end of the game, which, okay, I guess he has a teeny tiny bit of emotions. And speaking about Maria and all the other characters, I thought that they were going to have a way bigger role in the game. I mean, besides calling me a fart face, locking me in a room with a literal monster, and trying to kill me inside a freezer, and trying to attack me with a knife. I mean, beside all of that, I wish the characters had more interactions with James, or maybe even add some new characters to the remake, but oh well, what can you do? And with all that being said, I'll be on the lookout for Silent Hill F, the next mainline Silent Hill game. This one will take place in Japan, which is going to be kinda weird because Silent Hill is supposed to be the name of an American town. So yeah, I'm kind of excited for it, and I can't wait to play it and then make a video complaining about it. I mean, give it a review. Hi there, I'm Mr.DissPlay, and yes, I am real. And since you made it this far, this means that you probably enjoyed the video, so consider giving it a like. Also, don't forget to thank the artist Vino Lust. They were the ones who made this video possible. And so this is going to be it for my first video. I can't believe how long it took me to finally release this video. So your support is really appreciated, and I'll see you in the next video.